right, we're back with Leetcode, actually for the first time. This is the first time I'm doing a Leetcode exercise on here, and it'll be in Python. And this one is merge strings alternately from Leetcode. The ballers out there. Shout out to Leetcode. Yeah. So, get into this thing. Going to be given two strings, word 1 and word 2. Merge the strings by adding letters in alternating order, starting with word 1. If a string is longer than the other, append the additional letters onto the end of the merged string. Return the merged string. Thank you very much. Let's look at some examples. Word 1 here, word 2 here. And you see the alternating, it's A, P, B, Q. So we're taking index 0, index 1, index 1, and so on. So yeah, alternating. Simple idea, right? Character from one, character from another. And you end up with that. The curveball sort of is if one of these words is longer than the other. If one of the words is longer than the other, you've got to just tack on the extra stuff from the longer word at the end of the merged string. Let's look at an example of that down below. We got AB, then we have PQRS. Of course, PQRS is longer than AB. So after a while, you're going to, well, not after that long, but after a few, you're going to run out of characters where, I guess, RS is going to be the extra pieces. Yep, notice that word 2 is longer. So the RS ends up being at the end. It's tacked on. So, yeah, simple enough to start with A, P, B, Q across them. But when you get to RS, the other one doesn't have anything, so it's like, what do I do? So yeah, programmatically, you got to figure out how do you handle that situation where when one is longer than the other. So that's really the major thing with this one. Other than that, it's kind of child's play. Maybe it is overall for most of you guys, maybe. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine which word is longer, and then I'm going to take the part of the longer word that's longer than the other one and just kind of separate it off to the side and tack it on at the end of my alternation, if that is a word. But I must begin with creating a string to hold the combined string. I think I said that right. Yeah, so I'm going to hold the combined string in this empty string right there. I'm going to create a string for, this is going to be for the end of the longer word that I will tack on to the merged string. Then I am going to determine if determine which word is longer. Do that with, I'm keeping it super simple here and not trying to be fancy. So I'm going to go if word 1 is greater than length of word 2, then here's where it gets a little fancy. So if word 1 is longer than word 2, I'm going to take the end of word 1 where it's longer than word 2 and put it into this suffix variable. So I'm going to take word 1 and I'm going to get a slice of it where the beginning of the slice or the starting point for the slice is going to be the length of word 2, because that'll be the point at which after the length of word 2 we have the rest of word 1. So because word 1 is longer than word 2, where word 2 ends I want to capture the rest of that so I can tack that on to the end, because I can't alternate with that because word 1's longer than word 2. And so that's for word 1. If word 2 is the longer one, I will make the suffix for word 2. And word 1 would be the beginning point of it. Yeah, so now I've determined which one's longer. Now I can just go through and do the alternating. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Alternating. So for the alternating, I decided to use the zip function in Python, because zip can deliver, if you put two iterables in it, or structures, or whatever the hell you want to call them, you put two things in it, in this case 2 strings, it's going to, for each iteration, it's going to deliver you corresponding indexes of that string. Where I put 2 strings in there, it's going to, for each iteration, give me a tuple that contains both index 0s, then both index 1s, then both index 2s. So that is just tailor-made for this situation. Here's how it's used. And when this happens, it's going to deliver me alternating, really the alternating characters, kind of tailor-made in X and Y. And then I can just concatenate those to my combined string. Tailor-made. After this loop is over, I'm going to have my combined string, except for the suffix, or the end piece, if you will, if one word's longer than another. So I'm just going to tack that on at the end, as I've said several times. Tack it on, like that. No semicolon. This ain't Java. I think there it is. Beautiful piece of work there. Even though you can't really see it all because of the large type. Time to run this sucker. Let's see. Yep, looks good for our test cases. The simple ones. Yep, outputs the right stuff. All right, so that's child's play. Let's move it on to the big dog, the submission. All right, passes, just like I thought it would, because I've done this before, of course. So this is good. And there is your code. Hope you like the explanation. But you know what time it is. When the code runs, completes the exercise, that means I'm out of here. So see y'all later. See y'all on the flip side. See you next time. I'm out.